So, well, this is where we are at this point. I'm still have not made my brace for the gearbox, and this has to do with the fact that I'm still playing with the firewall, and I thought let's do the real firewall. So move the body back a little bit and tilt it, and then I brought in the firewall, and which has a huge hole where there was a petrol tank before originally. And what I found was, and this was good because we needed to measure it anyway, that yes, the top was widened about 3 centimeters, same as it was done here. As you can see there was a strip I put in there, but I forgot, or I didn't measure, or I didn't think about. But the bottom, the two ends of the body are also further apart, more apart than the 3 centimeters. I can easily bring them in, but it will just make the doors close more difficult. So in order to keep the doors closing as they are, and yeah, in future even improve on that, I have to leave the front as wide as it is. So I had to widen the firewall, which I did. So here you can see that this is what's a sort of a widening piece I put in here. I think it's close to 5 centimeters, 2 inches. I have to close this still, but I just wanted to have it fixed so it couldn't move. Then these brackets that attach the firewall to the actual chassis had to be brought in a little bit, otherwise they're not. It's not positioned right now. Let me see. It has to move to this side. Yeah, it's going to be like this. So it's fine there, and it's fine on this side. And I did that by cutting in there the bracket and then just hammering it over a little bit, and I'm welding it with a big weld back to the firewall. Now, of course, we have the other issue that the footwell, this plate, if I put it on the two bolts there, the original bolts, of course, on this side we have a huge difference. So I have to think about that. And we might have an issue with the hole for the brake and the clutch pedal, because they might not be in the correct position now. And I think, yeah, I think I made a mistake. Well, mistake. Maybe, well, not maybe, but maybe I should have put the piece that I put in between there. I should put it in here. Because now this doesn't line up. This needs to go through there, and that's way off. It's more to where the hole is now for the brake. I'm going to concentrate on the brake first, but it all keeps me from making a brace for the gearbox. Yeah, this was not the entire plan, but I guess when you do this, moving, putting in another engine, which sits further back, which forces you to move the the firewall, it does give you these kinds of issues. And I'm going to close the hole anyway, so this welding here doesn't really matter that much, because I'm going to put a plate over this hole. This hole will no longer be there because the petrol tank will be moved to the back of the car. So I don't have an issue there. I do have an issue here. I'm just thinking what would be the least amount of work, but I think I'm going to make a new hole. I'm not quite sure about the clutch, but I think I'm just going to concentrate on the steering. Having to go through. I'm also going to concentrate first. Let's do first things first. It's so nice. Sometimes I am so ahead of myself. I will have to position the firewall in its you know, in its final position, and then drill the holes. And I have 2 holes to drill on this side as well, on either side. And they're going to be all on the edge of the chassis rail anyway, and these will just be nuts and bolts, I believe. I think we'll see. But first, I think is to attach the firewall in its final position, and then we can continue. Oh, and this, the width of this, of the firewall itself, I of course I tested it against the body itself, so that will work. We'll also have to drill some new holes, but nothing dramatic. But all of this has to be done first before I can position my brake booster on the outside of the rail. I need to find my exact spot for my brake pedal, because that all works together. I then also have the shaft for the brake pedal that will come somewhere where this bolt is sticking out. It's going to be like here, and below it, straight below it, so here we have the bolt straight below it. I would love it to be there, but it can't be because the gearbox is there. So it has to be dropped quite significantly, very significantly. That's my only worry. It sits very below, far below the car itself. I'll have to protect it somehow, because it's going to be a shaft going from left to right, having all the brake cables on it. It will work, but I will, yeah, I'll have to watch for bumps, big bumps, that is. But I'll probably make some kind of a bracket to protect the shaft from hitting anything. And still, the oil sump is protecting it somewhat, and of course the front axle is also protecting it. But I still probably will want to do some extra protection to protect that shaft from being hit by a rock or a tree. And I just have to think about that. I don't see any way around that. These 2 shafts break. I think I explained that before this video. They have to be underneath each other. Otherwise, I'm going to be such in a mess of all triangulation and different lengths of brake pedal play and how the brakes will work with the booster. And again, we want the booster on the outside, and it doesn't really matter. If the booster was on the inside of the frame wheel, it would not make it any easier. The shaft would still have to be below the gearbox. Because again, in the old gearbox, the 2 shafts went through the bell housing. That's not the case here. Even if I would want that, I can't do that. There's no room for that, because the steering house is in front of that, so that wouldn't have been an option anyway. So it will be the way it is. It's also easier for me to service, to work on it. So we're going to focus on that. But first things first, we're going to attach the firewall in its permanent position, or from there we can continue with the rest. Well, it's 103. My quick welding, quick cutting. This isn't very smart. If I put this piece in, but because we have all this geometry here with holes and stuff, I think the best thing is for me is to cut this bracket, cut back here, and then cut up, and then move that to the left and fill in that hole, and then fill in a patch plate, you know, from the end there. So now we have this to fit, how much room we need in there, and if it's the correct size. We have to line up the holes at the bottom on each side, and then we can decide this gap. And then we have, hopefully, it looks a lot more like the steering is going to go through the hole that was meant for it. It can work as a guide, tack it, and then make these pieces to fit in there, just like the other side. And then we should have the bottom section done. Well, this section as well. Then we have to do this section. And then we can continue with the brake pedal. Also do the cross brace under the gearbox. The cross brace is probably the best to do next, because the cross brace, the carrier for the gearbox, because that will probably or might interfere with the shaft that will run the brake cables to the rear, since that one is going from left to right. So finish the firewall, bulkhead firewall, attach it to the frame, and then do the carrier for the gearbox. Okay, I just received some metal. I have two shafts. So this one is a new one that is going to be used for this one. And this one will be the one for the pedals. So that will stick through here somewhere. That will be on the outside. And then this one, going from left to right, will be the big one. The big one is going to be underneath the gearbox, and that's going to be this replacement for this short one. So which has these two bigger arms for the front brake, smaller one for the rear brake, and that one will be directly underneath the smaller one, which will be above with the pedals. And as said before, that's going to be quite a bigger difference. I'm just going to set it up and see what it will look like. So just want to bring you in. So I have the brace, or the carrier for the gearbox in. It's in on the gearbox side, and now I have to make new plates that go from here to the actual crossbar, and I'd like those, I'm making them more beefy. This is pretty thin. I think this is only like 1.5. This is thicker. This is a lot thinner. So those I will probably brace on either side and on this side, and then make a connecting bolt and another bolt on here. Same, of course, on the other side. And then the brace is, or the carrier is done. I can clean it up and paint it. And then that one is in, and then I can take the jack away from underneath the gearbox, and then we can focus more on the actual pedal placement, because where it is now is not exactly correct. So once this is in, once that's in, I can focus on the pedals, and I can start welding or finishing all of the holes in the firewall, like a little Swiss cheese here. Okay, but I'll put a big plate in the hole where the petrol tank was, and then it's just a lot of patching up. Yeah, and then at least, well, then it would be nice to get focus on all the pedals, or on the braking pedal first, with all its cables and all its hinges and pivot points and all of that. So we're not done yet. So here we have the brackets. Ow, they're still hot because I did a little weld here. There was a crack. So these are the ones that will hold the cross member that will support the gearbox. And that is over here. Clean this up a little bit. I'm not going to make everything perfect, but this is what they are. So they're lengthened. They've now double plated. And oh, I see that one is kind of crooked. Anyway, it's a support on the back, there's a support in the front. These will be way strong enough for the cross member. So I'm gonna paint them, put on some edge primer and some black paint, and then I can go under the car and I can take away the jack. Okay, well, I have welded them in. So we have the bottom spots, and then we have the top ones. They're hard to see, but they're rolling on both sides. So, good. I can now fix the lower point, and then we can tighten everything. So here, lower point is fixed. Everything is painted. So we can continue now on the brake system. So follow us in the next video on the setting up of the brake system. So thank you for watching. This was the brace of the engine, the gearbox. Yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I hope to have some days in the next week. It's getting again very warm in the Netherlands, as in the rest of Europe. So my loads will warm up. Hopefully, as it is now, it's still bearable. It's 25, 26 degrees Celsius. So I hope to get a lot done. But thank you again for watching. See you next time.